So we will now learn to say conditional statements in German. Wenn blah blah blah, dann blah blah blah. Before we do that, let us look at four sentences. For example, du lernst Deutsch. Du willst Deutsch lernen. Ich helfe dir. Ich kann dir helfen. Du lernst Deutsch mean you learn German. Du willst Deutsch lernen meaning you will learn German. Ich helfe dir means I help you. Ich kann dir helfen meaning I can help you. These are just normal sentences, yeah? When you use when or dann, the sentence structure changes. Now, first of all, what does dan mean? Dan, I think you know, dan means then. What does when mean? So when can mean when, like the when of English. It can also mean if. If you do this, then that happens, right? If blah blah blah, then blah blah blah. When can also mean when as it is, just when. So depending on how you say it, when the German when can mean when or if. Yeah. So either temporal condition or like actual condition, like the if. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's not so difficult to know the meaning of when and dann. The trick is to remember the correct grammar. So as I told you here, du lernst Deutsch, yeah. But the moment place, you want to use put a condition, right? You don't want to say du lernst Deutsch. You want to say if you learn German or when you learn German. The sentence structure changes. Check. So instead of wenn du lernst Deutsch, you have to say wenn du Deutsch lernst. Meaning, when you use wenn, the conjugated verb is at the last position. When I say last, just before the comma. What about dann? So here the sentence was ich helfe dir, but whenever you want to say, when the moment you have dann over here, check how it happens. So it's no more ich helfe dir, it is helfe ich dir. So what you need to remember is that when you use wenn, the conjugated verb is at the last position. When you use dann, the conjugated verb is at the just after the conjunction. Again, when you use when, the conjugated verb is at the last position. When you use dann, the conjugated verb is just after dann. Yeah. When I say conjugated verb, I mean conjugated verb, because let's look at, what if you want to say when you, instead of saying when you learn German, you want to say when you will learn German, or if you will learn German, then you have to say wenn du Deutsch lernen willst. So the sentence was du willst Deutsch lernen, but the moment I use wenn, all that happens is if I use wenn, the conjugated verb which is wills has to go to the last position. So wills has to leave this position and go after lernen. So check wenn du Deutsch lernen willst. Yeah. So conjugated verb is at the last position. What about dann? Again, as I said, when you use dann, the conjugated verb is just after it, right? So if I take this sentence, ich kann dir helfen, and if I want to put dann over here, all that will happen is that kann has to come before the subject, because only then it will be after dann. So dann kann ich dir helfen. So check, dann kann ich dir helfen. Understood? Any questions?